Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of High School Baseball right here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn joining you live from Louisville, Ohio, the site of today's matchup between the Tiffin Calvert Senecas and the Lake Center Christian Tigers. And once again, today's broadcast brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We are tuned in here on the pregame show. And I'll tell you what, folks, this one's going to be a doozy. You're not going to want to miss any of this one because two very, very competitive baseball teams doing battle here today. And this is a beautiful facility here, Greg. Absolutely gorgeous day for baseball. We have Austin Rodriguez on the camera for us today. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in here on the broadcast. If you're tuned in, make sure you share the video, like, follow, and subscribe to us, especially on YouTube. But, Greg, once again, beautiful day for baseball.
Oh, yes, and like you said, Nate, the facilities over here are gorgeous, and how accommodating. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I don't know if we've ever been more welcome to a place.
You want to talk about rolling out the red carpet? I mean, I was just very impressed by the staff here. And, I mean, it's not very often that not only do you get set up with your own table, your own chairs, you get a nice tent. You know, we had that at Gibsonburg last week. But, you know, Terry Horn, the athletic director over here at Louisville High School, also set us up with some free concession stand tickets, Greggy. How often do you get free food from a concession stand when you're working?
Just this right here. How often do you get a folder like this, just full of all the information that you can need?
Everything
I
need.
Like welcome letter telling you, you know, have any questions? This is how you get a hold of somebody here. It's perfect.
And the entire itinerary for today is plotted out by the minute. So, yes, very impressed by the staff here, the accommodations, very thankful for all of the hospitality. But we're here for some baseball here, folks, and we got a doozy for you on the docket. It is the regional semifinal here in Division IV. Region, 14, I think is what we're in right now, right? 13, 14, somewhere around in there.
I can never keep track.
But the Sweet 16 is where we're at, and Tiffin Calvert finds themselves facing a very tough Lake Center Christian team. I'll tell you what, Greg, this is a team that they play a lot of tough schools, including the team that just dispatched Dalton in the first game here, Warren JFK. They were 2 of their 5 losses on the season were to Warren JFK. So this is a team, and they were both in extra innings. So they've played a lot of tough teams, and they've given, I mean, this pitcher right here on the mound, this young man, he's something special. Now we are just about ready for the first pitch. Of course, first pitch brought to you by Hope in Fostoria. And that one on the outside just misses for a ball. And we're underway here. Dylan Meninga on the mound for Lake Center Christian. I was told by the local media here he took a no-hitter into the 6th inning in the district final to get them here to this one. They won that game 1-0.
Wow. It's not an easy road here, that's for sure.
Absolutely. That one in there for a strike. It's now 2-1 on senior Nick Palm. And that one just misses, so it's 3-1 now on Palm. Once again, they dispatched McDonald, the 4 seed in their region. 1-0 was the final score in that one. Now Palm laces that one into left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. It'll go all the way to the wall, and Nick Palm will be in standing with a leadoff double. And I'll tell you what, Greg, he's not going to take a no-hitter into the 6th in this one. He just gave up a leadoff double to the senior Nick Palm, the Findlay commit. Tiffin Calvert, they put a lot of pressure on a lot of teams, and one thing they love to do is they will spray the ball all over the field. They see where the gaps are, Greg. That's what they're known to do. They like to put the ball where you're not.
It's very, very smart play.
A.J. Shoemaker at the plate. Watches that one in there for a strike. Top of the first, no score. And that one bunted down the first base side. That one's a really nice bunt. And wow, Shoemaker is going to be out, but he absolutely lays out the pitcher. And I'll tell you, he didn't have to stand in his way. He could have just tagged him, but he literally stood there like a catcher, like in the base path, Greg. I mean, I know his momentum was taking him that way. He could have just olayed it and get a little tag there, but he stood there like he was going to.
I mean, the situation there.
I hope the young man's okay. My gosh, he took a nasty hit.
Well, I was going to say that's the situation there, Nate, is that there's two young men that are going to collide at that point when you're in each other's path. And you're either going to be the one that's on the ground or the one that, tries to stay up on their feet. I mean,
absolutely.
One of them was going to fall down there.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was
a nasty hit, and he has not shown a whole lot of movement since.
It just looked like a football.
I hope he's all right. The athletic staff is over there taking care of him. Umpires are having a discussion here because they're trying to decide what to do here. Because does this warrant an ejection here, Greg? Like, is this a situation where they might think it was flagrant? And they might say, okay, he's got to go.
It's just so hard to call that.
I know.
I mean, and we're just getting started here.
No, the coaching staff is obviously calling for it, but the umpire is not having it.
I told him, he said, you don't need to be in this conversation.
It looks like he's okay. He's up to his feet, but
I did see him moving his arms there a minute ago. But
whether he's able to pitch or not, that's another story. Hopefully the young man's okay, because if he comes out of the game, he won't be able to come back in, Greg.
Something they're really going to have to assess here is
absolutely
how hurt was he laying down there? Was he just taking his time? But like you said, he wasn't moving for a minute.
Yeah, he didn't show any movement for quite a while. I don't know if you can allow him to pitch. Even if you're the athletic staff, you might not be able to allow him to continue just due to concussion protocol.
I mean, it seems like
he took a nasty hit to the back of the head when he went down to the ground. He seems to be okay though. Thankfully.
I'm sure that turf didn't feel good when he hit the ground.
You're telling me, man. I've taken a few hits on some turf before. It's not forgiving. You think it bounces? It doesn't bounce. Even when it's warm, it doesn't bounce. There's a cement floor underneath all that stuff.
We're still having a discussion over here with some coaches and the umpires.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. Seems to be throwing some tossing some warm-up pitches here, so hopefully he's able to continue.
So he walked straight to the mound.
Yeah, he wasn't having it. He's like, nope, you're not taking me out of this game. It's too important for me. So we'll have a runner at third with one out when we come back from this pause in the action. There's a collision between home plate and first base between A.J. Shoemaker and the pitcher Dylan Meninga. As Shoemaker laid down a perfect bunt down the first base line, Meninga had to come down and make a play on it. And he just kind of set his feet, and I mean, he had a base on him like he was going to take a hit. And Shoemaker thought he was crossing home plate or something. I don't know. He barreled into him. And it looks like they are going to let him continue to pitch. We'll see what the call is here, Greg, because the athletic trainers are both out there talking to him here.
I was going to say that, if he can continue to pitch, if he can go straight back to the mound and he's okay, you think that has to play somewhat of a factor in what their decisions being
absolutely
here by the umpires.
For sure. Once again, runner at third base with one out when we come back from this little pause in the action here. We'll figure out what's going on as they let the dust settle. I think what they're determining now, Greg, is like what I said in the beginning. That pitcher could have just tagged him. He didn't have to stand in the base path. The runner can't go outside the base path in that situation. He's got to go straight to first base. And when that pitcher sets up with that base like that and sets up like a catcher, well, what do you expect the runner to do in that situation? He's got to go straight. So he's got to go through him.
Well, brace for impact. And there was an impact.
That was one heck of a collision. Thankfully, he's okay. It seems to be okay. He's feeling the effects of it, though. You could tell. He just said, he's a whew, man.
It's interesting how long they're talking about this one here.
Yeah, quite a discussion being had here, as I think there's obviously some jockeying from both sides here. Because I don't think Matt Coleman wants to see his player get ejected here. And I don't think the other team wants to see
him stay
in the game. So
I don't want to speak too soon, but
the body language I got from Matt Coleman was that he was ejected.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like there. It seemed like he was confirming it, but nobody really made it very clear.
So I cannot confirm until they come back out onto the field, but it looks to be that he was ejected.
Number 34, the third baseman, Mason.
And now you'll have Mason Johnson at the plate with a runner at third base and just one out. And Johnson, the SBC River Offensive Player of the Year, led the way for the Calvert Senecas with 10 home runs on the year, 49 RBI. And he batted over 400 on the season. To go along with that 0.00 ERA as well.
You know, Nate, I wasn't at the last Calvert game with you. Did they all have blonde hair at that game?
No, they didn't. I was going to point that out, but you beat me to it, Greg. And first pitch outside to Johnson. Once again, Dylan Meninga on the mound, able to come back after taking a nasty collision between home and first base. The 1-0, swung on and missed. Johnson out in front of that one. And it's 1-1. Nick Palm down at third base, takes the lead. Here's the 1-1. Outside, 2-1 the count on Johnson. Cameron Moyer in the on-deck circle. Or is that Connor? That's Connor. 4. Yep, 4. That's Connor. I should know better. Connor's clean up.
Looks like he's got the catcher leg pads on there.
That one in the turf. I caught myself before. Almost said in the dirt, but. And it's now 3-1 on Johnson. And that one in there for a strike as he takes that one over the inside corner of the plate. He's a little mad at himself for taking that one too, Greg. You can tell. He's like, that was mine. I could have taken that. Outfield medium depth. The 3-2. And he walked him. So he gives up a walk on a full count. So that'll put runners at the corners for Connor Moyer.
Next up in the batter's box, number 4, the catcher.
Oh, look at Jeff Moyer coming through in the clutch. Connor Moyer on the season, 500 batting average. That's 98 plate appearances, 70 at-bats. Had a 1.22 OPS on the season. And watches that one in there for a strike. Moyer had 26 singles, 9 doubles, and 30 RBIs on the season. Just 7 strikeouts, 21 walks. That one high. 1-1 the count. I'll tell you one thing I know about these Moyer boys, they will not swing at a bad pitch. They've got great plate discipline.
I would say their IQ as freshmen is just ridiculous.
In there for a strike as Mason Johnson scampers on down to second base, and now runners at second and third. That's the best way I could describe that. Scamper.
Oh, that was a scamper.
That was a scamper. So 2 ducks on the pond here for Connor Moyer, with Cam Moyer on deck. 1 out. Here's the 1-2 from Meninga. Strike 3 called. He got that one to drop right in there. That was a nice pitch there by Dylan Meninga.
If you say so, Nate. No, I'm just I'm not that opinion.
99, the first baseman, Cameron Moyer.
That'll bring up Cameron Moyer.
Ooh.
That went in there for a strike.
I just cruised on him there.
Cam Moyer on the season, 297 batting average, but a 548 on base percentage. 104 plate appearances, but just 64 at-bats. And Cam fouls that one off to the left. It's now 0-2. "28 walks on the season, and 10 times he was hit by a pitch." At a time called by the batter. Here's the 0-2. Up high. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, fouled off to the left. Nice attempt at a barehanded snag there by Coach Coleman down there.
He took one hop to the right and he said, I ain't chasing it.
I'm going to tell him, like, don't you give me that Olay stuff here. Two down. Runners at second and third. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Dylan Meninga gets out of a jam as he had runners at second and third with just one out, but comes back to strike out the Moyero brothers. And that is the end of the top of the first. We head to the bottom of the first. No score here at Louisville High School. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the call with you. Let's take a moment and thank all of our sponsors who allow us to be here and broadcast today's game here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant, Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Clouse Electric. All proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Blake Coleman on the mound for Tiffin Calvert.
Both these teams wearing their blue jerseys today. I almost feel like it'd make it easier to steal a base. I just act like I was playing, hey, buddy, I'm on your team. Whoop.
Whoop.
You ain't going to see that out of the corner of your eye, that's for sure.
Blake Coleman on the season, 9-1. He's got a 1.06 ERA. And a .89 whip. And he is, I'm telling you.
We had a nice shot of him on the mound that Austin had for you, and then some camera guy just stepped right in front of him for some reason. I guess he thought he needed to be on camera. I mean, by all means, make sure you get your footage. It's not like we're live or anything.
Well, he's not. No, but he'll post a highlight video afterwards. Try to act like he was here live. We're more than just highlight videos, folks.
Lake Center Christian Tigers, number 8. Harrison Koblenz.
And leading off for the Tigers, number 8, Harrison Koblenz, the second baseman. Coleman misses with the first one.
Them wearing those blue jerseys throws me off because I don't know of any other teams locally that are called the Tigers that have blue in their colors.
Right. Swing and a miss by Koblenz. And Coleman starts him out with the off speed and then comes with the fastball on the outside. Swung on, hit down, foul down the third base side. And it's now 1-2. This is where Coleman's at his best, when he's able to get ahead of hitters, because then he can really get them guessing. Swing and a miss just like that. As Koblenz goes down swinging, and it is one down here. And that'll bring up Matt Warder, center fielder.
Matt Warder.
In there for a strike. I'll tell you, Greg, when he can get that breaking ball to go for a strike, he's dangerous.
And it's just such a beautiful thing to watch.
That went up high as he shows bunt, but pulls it back. Evens the count at 1-1. Inside, 2-1 the count now on Warder. The pitcher, Dylan Meninga, in the on-deck circle. No score here in the bottom of the first. One down. Here's the 2-1 from Blake Coleman. Up high, and it's 3-1. Just over a 2-hour drive to get here today. 2 hours and 7 minutes for us. And he walks him. So he puts Warder on as he had him at an even count at 1-1, but falls behind on 3 straight pitches to give him a free bag. That'll bring up Dylan Meninga. First one outside. So that's now 4 straight balls here for Coleman.
Now batting number 10, Dylan Meninga.
Swung on, hit down the first base side, but foul. Meninga, a righty pitcher, but batting left. Wonder if he's a switch hitter. Looks like a ball player, that's for sure. Swung on, fouled at the plate. We'll come back and do it at 1-2. Runner down at first is the center fielder, Matt Warder. 1-2 the count now on Meninga. Coleman comes set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit right in between the first and second baseman. And the throw over to third, and he'll be sliding in safely. So runners at second and third now with just one out.
That was a nice hit there.
Absolutely, right in between the first baseman and second baseman. Perfectly placed there by Meninga.
Next up, number 12, the catcher, Wyatt Feather.
That'll bring up the catcher, Wyatt Feather. Something tells me this isn't going to be a 1-0 ball game, Greg. Time called by the batter. Coleman doesn't even move. Whew!
Nice.
Got that one to snap in there for a strike. Starts him out with a curveball. Here's the 0-1. And he didn't pull that one back in time, so it's 0-2 now on Feather. Trying to put the pressure on the defense here as they showed bunt on that last one here. Let's see what they do. The 0-2 outside. They look the runner back at third. That was more of a pitch out there, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep the runners honest. And it's 1-2 now on Wyatt Feather. Here's the pitch from Coleman. Swung on, hit into left field, but this one should be playable. And it's grabbed by the left fielder. The throw is not going to be in time. It'll hit the cutoff man, but they score the game's first run. And it's 1-0 Lake Center Christian.
Next to bat for the Tigers, Nathan Bryant, number 23.
Of course, if you remember last year, Greg, this Senecas team got down 8-0 to Hillsdale
That's some incredible gains in that run.
in the regional semifinal and came all the way back to win that one 9-8 in the bottom of the seventh. So no lead is safe here today for either team.
No.
And that one fouled straight back. Should be playable for somebody, and the pitcher unable to make the play. As I think they all kind of lost it up in the sun, Greg.
Yeah, I think they all took their eyes off it for a second to look at each other to see who was going to call it.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's so bright out here right now.
That's one of those situations where one of them had to call it, and I don't think anybody did. 1-1 the count here on Nathan Bryant. That one inside. And it's 2-1 on Bryant. Bryant, the third baseman today. In there for a strike. Paints the outside corner with that one. And that evens the count at 2-2. The 2-2 swung on and missed. Strike three, and that is the end of the first inning. Blake Coleman does give up a run, but he limits the damage to just one. It's 1-0 Tigers. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Federal Credit Union, your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State. And we're back here live at Louisville High School. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the call with you. Austin Rodriguez on the camera today. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Once again, 1-0 is your score. The Tigers take the lead in the bottom half of the first inning. We're set to start the top half of the second here. Blake Coleman will be leading off for Tiffin Calvert, batting out of the 6th hole. They had runners at second and third in the top of the first with just one out. But Dylan Meninga came back to strike out Cam and Connor Moyer to end the top of the first.
So both teams able to get on base there in the first inning.
Yep.
The only difference is the Tigers were able to get one across the plate.
Once again, today's first pitch was brought to you by Hope in Fostoria, one of our proud sponsors here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Very excited to partner with them for the Walk for Recovery coming up on June 10th. Hedges Boyer Park from 10 a.m. to noon. Come on out and join us. I'll be the MC for the event. It's going to be a comedian, food vendor, all kinds of activities for the kids, music, a few guest speakers. Come on out and join us for the Walk for Recovery, once again at the Hedges Boyer Park, June 10th. That's next Saturday. Swing and a miss by Coleman as Meninga throws that one as he challenges him with a high fastball. And Coleman was underneath of it. And that one doesn't quite get the bite he was looking for.
Very close.
And it's now 1-1 on Coleman. And Coleman fouls that one off to the right. It's now 1-2. The 1-2 is up high, and it's now 2-2 on Coleman. Top of the second, 1-0, Tigers. Senecas 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up next. Coleman hits that one. This was going to be playable for the right fielder as he makes the play for the first out.
It was a nice catch by him, too. You see he went one step too far, and he had to kind of bend back for that one. That's a good play on that.
I would have rolled my ankle in that situation.
Yeah. That's exactly the first thing I thought of was out.
That'll bring up Harrison Schultz.
To say I'd be on the ground and Coleman be running across home.
Jacob Kidwell in the on-deck circle. Schultz watches that first one. He said it was a strike. It was in the other batter's box. Swung on and fouled off to the left, and it's now quickly 0-2 on Harrison Schultz. Here's the 0-2. Looked pretty similar to that first pitch. That must have been a ball. It's now 1-2 on Schultz. And he swings at that one. That was a bad pitch to swing at, but he had him guessing on that one, Greg, because he didn't know what he was swinging at. You can tell he was kind of confused there for a second. A little hesitation in his swing.
I was going to say, that one looked like it came right down the center, but it was definitely much higher than he anticipated to come in there.
And that'll bring up Jacob Kidwell. Kidwell, the DH today, hits that one straight up the middle, right to the second baseman, though.
It'll be a race.
And he will throw that over to first for the final out here in the top half of the second inning. We head to the bottom of the second. 1-0. Lake Center Christian on top as they are due up to bat next. Thanks for joining us here. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We'll tell you about our friends at Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. They've been a part of this community for 70 years. They're a member-driven financial cooperative. They're delighted to provide a personal touch to an often impersonal industry with a focus on respect and member satisfaction while caring for your financial needs. Stop in at Your Legacy, located at 25 Schaefer Park Drive in Tiffin. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
I'm going to tell you, Nate, if you ever question whether or not they're actually rooted deep in this community, look at the parade we just had this past weekend. Completely sponsored by Your Legacy.
Huge.
Making sure that we still have things like that going on in our town. You love it. You love to see the community pride there.
Absolutely, and a huge community-minded sponsor for us. They've been with us since the beginning. Obviously, our financial institution that we do business with, but they've never balked at any offer from us. They always want to be on board with us since the beginning. A title sponsor. They were one of the legacy sponsors, basically an investor for us that invested in us in the beginning. And when we really needed folks to get on board with us, they were one of them that said, absolutely, we see the value here. And we couldn't be more happy to be partners with them and doing business with them. But yeah, I did see that they were sponsors, the main sponsor of the Memorial Day Parade. That's pretty cool. And that'll bring up Jacob Spickard, the designated hitter. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Braden Miller. He must have been just naming them off, the next three batters. So, Braden Miller, first baseman at the plate. And batter calls time.
That was awkward.
The umpire's giving him a third degree because he says he's taken too long before the pitch, but I mean, it's a communication thing between the pitcher and catcher. All right, first pitch up high. The 1-0, and he hits him. Braden Miller earns himself a leadoff free bag. He earned that one, though. He had extra padding there, though.
That ball bounced awful far. I mean, if you're going to get hit any place, that's the place to get hit.
Right, well, I don't want to get hit anywhere, yeah. And squares to bunt. This one scoots foul.
Barely even moved.
Jacob Spickard, the DH at the plate. Little conversation here as the coach wants to talk to his batter.
And that's what you're going to get in a game like this with two good teams. Is a lot of chess match, playing these things out, a lot of conversations being had, smart baseball play.
Just don't take too long to get your pitch in.
Can't talk about that.
That should have been a strike.
You would think.
He never pulled his bat back. He was still in the zone. Yeah, they're saying he pulled it back. It must not have been all the way in the zone. I don't know. He must have never put it all the way in, I guess, because he never pulled the bat back, but it must not have been all the way in. I don't know.
This is just one of those things we're not going to see from this angle either.
Yeah, we got a bad angle. That one bunted. Pitcher gloves and throws to first for the first out. But they do their job. They move the runner from first to second. Now they have a runner in scoring position here. This will be Chance Klingenhofer. There we go.
Next up, number 2, Chance Klingenhofer.
At least I wasn't the only one that said it wrong the first time. And the bunt is perfectly placed.
Yeah.
And runners at first and third now. And that's small ball, Greg.
You weren't kidding about perfectly placed. Perfect speed on the roll, perfect spot on the field.
That is small ball at its perfection right there. That's kind of beating Calvert at their own game, Greg, because that's what we see this a lot with Calvert on the offensive side of the ball.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of similarities between these teams here today.
Now batting, number 1, Luke Eckert.
That'll bring up number 1, Luke Heckert, the right fielder. Ground ball to the shortstop, to second for 1, to first, not in time. And so a run will score. And it's now 2-0 Tigers.
Back of the batting order, Ford Lake Center, Christian Tigers.
Harrison Koblenz
Second
at the plate now.
Koblenz.
In there for a strike. Coleman's had that curveball working for him today. It just, these hitters have been squaring up on his fastball, Greg. They've been spitting on that off speed, though. That one fouled off into the back. That is now 0-2 on Koblenz. Here's the 0-2. Outside, pitch out. Throw down to second, and they got him at second. Nice throw by Connor Moyer, and that is the end of the second inning. Tigers played another run, but they leave. Actually, they got that runner out, so they don't leave anybody stranded. And it is now 2-0 Lake Center Christian. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Betting happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. You're on the edge of your seat until the moment when it's all on the line, which is why it's important to pause before you play. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be, so remember to set limits, know the risks, and pause before you play. To learn more, visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by Hope and Fostoria and the CARSA Coalition of Seneca County.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
All right, and we're back here at Louisville High School. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the call with you here today. Austin Rodriguez on the camera. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. I want to give a shout out to all of our title sponsors here today. Stick around for the postgame show brought to you by Your Legacy Federal Credit Union, where we will crown our player of the game, brought to you by MST Sauce Company. Of course, tonight's announcer cam brought to you by Lee's Floor Covering. Our first pitch earlier was brought to you by Hope in Fostoria. And we'll have the keys to the game in the postgame show brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. We'll take a look at the weather report brought to you by TPC Food Service here in just a moment.
Hot.
It is a warm one here, yes. Sunny. Caden Otterbacher at the plate for the Senecas as we start here in the top of the third. 2-0 Tigers. Senecas 9-1-2 hitters due up. And Otterbacher takes a swing at that one, and it's up high. Evens the count at 1-1. Moninga has done a nice job with this lineup so far. He went 1-2-3 there in the top half of the second inning. The 2-1 here to Otterbacher. That one swung on, hit into center field. Center fielder retreating, and he'll make the play as he is near the warning track area, but about 20, 30 feet away from the fence, makes the catch. So he gave it a ride, but not quite deep enough. Otterbacher's done that a few times here the last couple weeks that we've called games. He's got a habit of just kind of putting the ball in the air out there. If he could get a little bit more of a level stroke, see if he can get that thing leveled out a little bit, boy, he can put the ball in play. It's just sometimes it stays up there a little too long.
And I tell you, I don't know what the distance is here, but it's not a small field.
No, not at all. That first pitch in there for a strike. Palm squared up to bunt, but then pulled it back. But it was called a strike. That one outside, a 1-1 the count. A.J. Shoemaker in the on-deck circle. Let's see if he gets plunked, Greg. That one up high, 2-1 the count. As you remember earlier in this one, in the first inning, Palm led things off with a leadoff double. And then Shoemaker with a bunt got him over the third, but absolutely clocked the pitcher on the way there down to first base. Luckily, he was able to recover, and he's still in the game. He's doing a great job since then. It's now 2-2 on Palm. Time called by the batter. That went outside, and it's now a full count here on Nick Palm. Regional semifinal here at Louisville High School. Outside, and Palm draws a one-out walk. That'll bring up A.J. Shoemaker. Let's see how close these pitches are.
There's box number 5, right fielder A.J. Shoemaker.
Palm safely back to first after the quick throw over. One out. Top of the third. 2-0 Tigers. Throw over to first, and Palm back without even a tag. Hasn't even thrown one to the plate yet, Greg. He's that worried about the runner.
Palm will do that to you.
Yeah. Well, he had 20 steals on the season, so. That one in there as that one breaks across the outside of the plate. Step off by the pitcher there. A little bit of gamesmanship being played here. I like it. I like it. Turnabout's fair play. They were playing head games with Coleman in the last part of the inning, so.
Oh, it's gonna be
And a throw over to first will get the runner But they'll move the runner from first to second now, so they'll have a runner at second base for Mason Johnson here.
Number 34, third baseman Mason Johnson.
Outside. Johnson drew a walk back in the first and stole second base, and that's where he was left stranded. The 1-0 swung on, fouled at the plate. And Johnson says, man, that was the one I wanted. Give me that one again, please. Umpire. That's experience right there, Greg. That's what that is, because he saw that one go off the foot of the batter. So rather than throw that one out to the pitcher, he takes his time, gives him a couple extra minutes to collect himself. Everybody settles back in now, and it's 1-1. 2 down, runner at second base here in the top of the third. Dylan Meninga. That looked like a balk. He was into his windup. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, fouled back. We'll come back and do it at 1-2. Practically a home game for LCC. It's about a 20-minute drive for them. Whereas Calvert, most of these fans,
I wish it was a 20-minute drive.
2 hours to get here. Make it make sense. Time called. Yeah, all three of the other teams that we're playing here in the regionals, all within the same little area, except for Calvert. That one outside, and it's now 2-2 on Mason Johnson. Wind blowing in from right field. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, this one hit into center field. Looks like it's going to be a little too deep, as it is playable for the center fielder. And that's the final out here in the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the third, still 2-0 Tigers. Nate Mullins, Greg Kinn on the call with you here. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and your Legacy Federal Credit Union. The winner of today's matchup will go on and face Warren JFK, who dispatched Dalton earlier here today. 7-1 was the final.
That's just a name that the last few years of baseball that I've been covering with you just keeps ringing itself in there. It doesn't go away. That's a powerhouse team for sure.
Absolutely.
No easy task ahead of either one of these teams. This one's been a tight one here so far, Nate. You can kind of almost feel how tense it is in the air out
I was just about to say the same thing. You can feel the tension. Fans are sitting a little close to each other, so you're getting a lot of back and forth. Not so much between the fans, but like just you hear groans from both sides, you know. And we're right in the middle of it. Tell you about our friends at Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. Folks, have you been out there lately? You really need to go. If you haven't been in the last week, just go. Seriously. Make it a date night. Go get some queso, grab a margarita, make sure it's the non-alcoholic version, you know. We can't be promoting anything else on there, but those virgin margaritas, those virgin strawberry daiquiris, those are really good.
Did I see correctly? Did they have themselves like a online ordering system?
They
or a
do.
Delivery or something
Absolutely.
like that?
Yes, Greg, that's a great point. You can actually order online. If you go to their Facebook page, their website is listed pretty much on every post that they've posted for the last, I don't know, couple months. But when you see the website, follow the link, and the link allows you to order online. You can order a personal order for yourself. You can order a family platter for everybody in your family. If you're having a party, you can order catering. Absolutely. Order online. Delivery as well available. And then online pickup. Give them a call. Your friends at Xcaret Mexican Restaurant, located in the Tiffin Mall. Blake Coleman on for his third inning of work here. Starts him out with a first pitch curveball strike to Harrison Koblenz. He was at the plate when the runner tried to steal second base, but Connor Moyer gunned him down for the final out. And a swing and a miss by Koblenz. He's quickly down 0-2 in the count. Not a single senior on that squad for LCC, Greg.
Wow.
Juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Not one senior. Crazy. Of course, Calvert only has two. Nick Palm and Mason Johnson, that's it.
Like I said, I think there's a lot of similarities between these two programs.
Strike three called. Blake Coleman sits him down with a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. That'll bring up Matt Warder, the center fielder.
For the batter's box would be number 13, Matt Warder.
Coleman's first pitch down low. Skips in there for a ball. The 1-0 laced to the shortstop. Palm gloves and throws to first for the first out. Boy, he just makes it look so routine.
Yeah.
Every play, it's just like, I know when it goes anywhere near him, that's an out. Like, you can pretty much tally that one up.
He's a natural, man.
He's such a natural athlete.
Next up, number 10, Dylan Meninga.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, Dylan Meninga. And that one in there for a strike, as Meninga wasn't sure if he wanted to swing or not, but just decided to kind of check his swing. That one was in there anyway.
Yeah, the brakes weren't good enough. It's a great pitch there, too. Oh.
And the 0-1 is hit in the air to left field, but playable, and squeezed by the left fielder for the final out here. So quickly, the Tigers go 1-2-3, their first scoreless inning. We head to the top of the fourth.
Yeah, that happened so fast I didn't realize that was the third out.
We head to the top of the fourth. It's 2-0 LCC. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Why go to Lee's Floor Covering of Tiffin? Why not just go to one of those big box DIY stores? Because at Lee's Floor Covering, they know that selecting the right flooring for your home can be overwhelming. They make choosing the right items for your home simple. At Lee's Floor Covering, they have one of the largest selections of floor covering in Northwest Ohio, and they make the decision-making process easy. Stop in and see what everyone raves about at Lee's Floor Covering in Tiffin. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here at Louisville High School here in Louisville, Ohio. Yes, Louisville, Ohio, not Kentucky.
Not that far away.
2-0 Tigers as we get ready to start the top of the fourth. Here in the regional semifinal in Division IV. Nate Mullins on the call with you. Greg Kinn, the Wizard, on the ones and twos, keeping us live. And, of course, Austin Rodriguez on the camera here with us today. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Also want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors, including Hope and Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Clouse Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Connor Moyer takes that first pitch outside for a ball. Moyer lines that one straight up the middle, and that one's going to drop for a base hit. So after striking out in the first, boy, he would have wanted that in the first, right, Greg? Man, that would have been a nice hit to have, but you'll take it here. Leadoff single here in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up Cam Moyer. We'll get a relief runner. I was corrected on the call the other day. I said pinch runner. It's a relief runner. Because he's coming in relief of the catcher, because the catcher's not leaving the game. He's just coming in relief.
Okay. Semantics runner.
So who do we have as that is Cash Lee. Cam Moyer watches that one drop in there for a strike. Dylan Meninga on the mound for his fourth inning of work. He's worked 3 shutout innings so far, picking up where he left off in the district final. Snap throw to first, and Lee back safely. When you hear that name, Cash Lee, you're probably thinking, well, that sounds familiar. Don't you guys have a sponsor, Lee? Yeah, that's the same Lee's Floor Covering. Yep, absolutely. Happy to have them on board with us. Snap throw to first, and Cash Lee back safely.
Cash Lee back safely.
The 0-1, Moyer hits that one to third. A glove throw to first for the first, and the relay.
Oh, he dropped it.
He dropped the ball. So they had
him beat.
They had plenty of time to make that throw, but the first baseman unable to make the play, and Cam Moyer will be safe at first base.
Bat for Senecas would be the pitcher, Blake Coleman.
That'll bring up Blake Coleman, the pitcher. Wind blowing from right to left center. Coleman watches that first one down low for a strike. Meninga wanted that one. You could tell. He backed
called
up.
that a ball, didn't
Yeah. That's what I say. He wanted
You
it.
said a strike. So.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Ooh, whoops. No, that was down low.
I was going to say, I thought that one was a little low there. Ooh.
Coleman hits that one. It's going to be trouble. He gets down. It's fair ball. And they're going to have to hold the runner at second base, as a nice job there by the right fielder to get over there and cut it off before it did any damage. But, boy, that one was just fair, Greg. You want to talk about inches fair.
That one just dropped right in there. It didn't take too much of a bounce or a roll either after that. It just kind of plop right inside the line.
I think we're going to get another relief runner here for Cam Moyer, as now they have a runner in scoring position. They want to try to take advantage of that here. And I believe,
I think it's 44. Right?
yeah, Logan Ritzler will be coming on as a relief runner for Cam Moyer here.
Got to tie his shoes first.
And I'm sure you're hearing that Ritzler name. You're thinking, hey, that name sounds familiar. I'm sure it's probably somewhat of the same family.
I think it's just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence.
That some of these great sponsors for this Calvert game might have some names that are familiar.
Of course, I say that and watch. They're probably not related. I don't know how that wasn't a balk. That's the second time he's done that same motion where he comes off and the ball's up, but he doesn't come forward with it. So I guess it's not technically part of his motion. And Harrison Schultz watches that one in there for a strike.
Okay.
Runners at first and second. Blake Coleman down at first. Logan Ritzler down at second. And Schultz watches that one in there for a strike, and it's now 0-2 quickly. Schultz hits this one right to the shortstop. Underhands to second, but it will not be a throw over to first, and they'll have runners at first and third now for Jacob Kidwell. And here's a chance for Kidwell to play the hero here, Greg. 2 down, but runners at first and third.
Number 11, designated hitter, Jacob Kidwell.
And I'll tell you one thing about this Tigers defense. They cover a lot of ground, Greg. They're rangy. Every position so far I've seen, very good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Kidwell hits that one right back to the pitcher. Soft throw to first, and that's the final out. So no damage done, and Meninga is cruising now through 4 innings. He's given up no runs. It's 2-0 Tigers as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Thanks for tuning in here with us. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We want to thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to be here today. Thanks to Hope and Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Clouse Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State. 2-0 Tigers as we get ready to start the bottom half of the 4th inning. You got Blake Coleman on the mound for the Senecas, working his 4th inning of work. He went 1-2-3 there in the bottom of the 3rd.
Sat him down very quickly there in the bottom of the 3rd. Hope they can do that same kind of magic here.
Very quickly. Senecas have had scoring opportunities, Greg. They've had runners at third base multiple times here in the first 4 innings. I think 3 times they've had runners in scoring position here and have been unable to plate any runners. And that's in large part due to the work of Dylan Meninga.
Yeah.
He has been just outstanding on the mound today. Working ahead consistently.
Catcher, Wyatt Feather.
And doing his part to send the Tigers into the regional final, which will be played tomorrow right here at Louisville High School. The winner of today's matchup faces Warren JFK as they dispatched Dalton earlier here today. 7-1 was the final for that one. The 1-0 is swung on and missed by Wyatt Feather. In there for a strike. It's now 1-2 on Feather. So Coleman, after falling behind, has now come back 2 straight strikes to get ahead of the hitter, 1-2. That one inside in the dirt, in the turf. And the 1-2 swung on, hit to first, and Cam Moyer will step on first after fielding it for the first out.
Next up to bat, number 23, Nathan Bryant.
That went in there for a strike. Starts him out with a curveball that drops in there. Nathan Bryant at the plate. Swung on and missed. Boy, he had him out in front of that one. And it's now 0-2 here on Bryant. Strike 3 called. Blake Coleman froze him up. Curveball at the knees on the inside corner.
Number 21,
And he didn't know what to do with it. He wasn't going to hit it, so he just watched it. That'll bring up Braden Miller, who comes up and before he even sees a pitch, calls time. Miller fouls that one off to the right. And falls behind quickly, 0-1. Doing his little shimmy.
Ball went like the same exact spot there.
Makes the ladies here in Louisville go crazy. No, I'm just little major league reference there.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's the 0-2, swung on, hit straight up in the air on the infield. Somebody's got to call for it, and Palm's going to take it for the final out. So 1-2-3 go the Tigers in the bottom of the fourth. Blake Coleman makes short work of Lake Center Christian here, and we head to the top of the fifth. Tigers still leading 2-0. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout, but we'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins and Greg Kinn on the ones and twos with you here. Austin Rodriguez on the camera. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We'll tell you about another one of our proud sponsors, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting. They're here to simplify your financial life. Their team of experienced professionals specializes in personalized accounting services tailored to meet your unique needs. From bookkeeping and tax preparation to payroll and financial planning, they've got you covered. With Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, you can say goodbye to stressful tax seasons and hello to peace of mind. With their attention to detail and commitment to excellence, they ensure accuracy, compliance, and maximize your deductions. Let them handle the numbers while you focus on what you do best, growing your business. Discover the difference Linda S. Ritzler Accounting can make for you. Contact them today at lindaritzleraccounting.com. Top of the fifth, Caden Otterbacher leads off for the Senecas, fouls that one back. And falls behind 0-1 here to Dylan Meninga on for his fifth inning of work. 4 shutout innings so far here from Meninga, picking up where he left off in the district final. Otterbacher fouls that one back. And quickly, it's 0-2. And the 0-2 slapped back to the shortstop. Gloves, throws to first, and they get the runner at first. A lot closer than I thought that play was going to be, but
he definitely turned on the jets trying to get there.
a nice play there by the shortstop, Tanner Norman.
It just goes back to that defense, like you said, Nate. How quick they are and how much they can cover.
The Senecas, number 7.
You can tell there's not a whole lot they haven't seen this year. That'll bring up Nick Palm, shortstop. Watches that one down low for a ball. Palm's been on base twice today. Leadoff double in the first and a walk back in the third inning, I think. That one outside. 2-0 now on Palm. This will be the third time through the order here for some of these hitters, and usually when they get that third trip through the order, they start to find the ball a little better. They start to locate. So we'll see. As that one in there for a strike, it's now 2-1. Of course, same can be said for the pitcher, you know. Third time through the lineup, he's got an idea of what each hitter's going to bring him. He's got an idea of how he wants to attack each hitter. Here's the 2-1 on Palm. Outside, it's now 3-1, so Nick Palm works himself into a hitter's count here. One out, nobody on. (3-1) is in there for a strike, and it's now a full count here on Nick Palm.
I'm not sure what's
I
happening.
don't understand what's going on between this pitcher and the umpire, but when the batter is stepping into the plate with his hand up saying hold, I've seen both teams do this, and he grants the other team no problem. I don't understand what the problem was there.
I see Coleman come
The
out.
other team did that at least 3 times so far I've seen, where they'll step into the box with their hand to the umpire saying, give me a second, I'm not set, and then they get set. Well, the pitcher was ready to pitch before he even put his hand down. He was coming into his motion. And Palm fouls that one off to the left. We'll keep it at a full count.
I think they don't have any baseballs out there right now.
All the kids stealing them over there, playing ball off to the side.
Back in here.
That's one, but we need a couple more here.
Yeah.
Umpire's looking back like, hey, where's the rest of them? Come on,
They don't
guys.
have any, man.
Full count. Here's the pitch. Down low, and he draws the walk. So Nick Palm has been on base all 3 times he's been at the plate today. Leadoff double, and now 2 walks issued by Meninga. That'll bring up A.J. Shoemaker. Shoemaker involved in the collision between catcher and first base back in the first inning. Luckily, both players were okay. Snap throw back to first.
Number 5.
Boy, Meninga loves to do that. That's like, I think that's the 4th time I've seen him with a base runner on, where before he even throws a pitch to the plate, he throws it straight over to first. Let's see if he does it again, because the last time Palm was on, he threw twice over to first base. That one hit in between short and third base, and now the Senecas have runners on first and second with just 1 out. So Dylan Meninga's got himself into a few jams today. Let's see if he can work himself out of this one.
Johnson.
He's had runners at second and third twice here in the first 4 innings and gotten out of it both times. But now you got the SBC Rivers Offensive Player of the Year at the plate, Mason Johnson. And now they're going to get a conference on the mound to discuss how they want to attack the hitter here. Two 2-0 Tigers. Conference on the mound here. We call that our call to the bullpen here, even though there's not going to be any pitching changes made here. Just a little conference to see how they want to come after the hitter here. Because as I mentioned, Johnson's that's a heck of a hitter at the plate there. You want to make sure you are all on the same page.
Pivotal point in this game.
Oh, absolutely. Runners at first and second, one out. Mason Johnson at the plate. Dylan Meninga comes set. Here's the pitch. Johnson hits this one into right field. It gets down for a base hit all the way to the wall. 1 run will score. Shoemaker around third. 2 runs will score, and this game is tied. It's 2-2, and Mason Johnson with a 1-out, 2 RBI double ties the ball game for the Senecas.
Mason Johnson with the big hit as usual, sending that one all the way to the wall back there. Giving those guys plenty of time to round the bases.
We've seen that defense be rangy all game today, Greg, but that one just outside of the reach of the right fielder, perfectly placed by Mason Johnson. And it's now tied at 2 apiece. Connor Moyer at the plate. And a runner down at second base. Meninga comes set. Here's the 1-0. In the turf, it's 2-0. So Meninga starting to struggle a little bit here in the 5th. He had been cruising through 4 innings, but now gave up 2 runs here. And a time called by the batter, Connor Moyer. And he's fallen behind 2-0 the count here. That one up high, and it's now 3-0. He does have a base open here if he wants to put him on. I don't know if you want to pitch to him here. It's a 500 hitter at the plate. And a 3-0 count here. That one misses, and it's a 4-pitch walk. So after Meninga gives up the 2 RBI double, 4 straight balls to issue the walk. And the wheels are starting to come off here.
Headed to the batter's box, number 99, Cameron Moyer.
That'll bring up Cameron Moyer with just 1 down here. Runners at first and second. Seneca's looking to extend that lead, or extend the runs out a little bit and get a lead here because, man, Meninga was cruising before this. So you want to take advantage of every opportunity you get because it couldn't be, I mean, he could settle right back in and not give up another run the rest of this one. You got to take advantage of every opportunity you get here.
Absolutely, Nate.
This is a dangerous pitcher, so.
You just saw him throw a nice one there before that.
Absolutely, and that one in the dirt, so now 1-1 here on Cam Moyer.
But yeah, to your point, you got to ride that momentum here.
Absolutely. Got to take advantage of every opportunity. Down low, and it's now 2-1 here on Moyer. You got to think that double from Johnson might have got into his head a little bit, Greg, because he hasn't wanted to throw a whole lot around the plate since. And a time called by the catcher because he understands he's seeing something here. He's like, hey, come on, buddy, just trust me. I know. I'm calling the right calls here. Just trust me here. Runners at first and second, 1 out. 2-1 the count here on Cam Moyer. Dylan Meninga comes set. Here's the pitch. Moyer short hands that one. And he didn't touch the base runner. All runners are safe.
He hopped up in the air there. He was never touching the base when he got the ball.
He didn't touch the base, and he didn't tag the runner.
No, not at all, because I think he thought maybe he had touched
So
the base.
all runners are safe in that situation.
Because he kind of made the motion as if he had touched it and was going to throw it down.
Yeah, but if he did touch it, he came off
Yeah,
before he had the ball.
Didn't touch it. Yeah, before he had the ball, absolutely.
Number 1, Blake Coleman.
They're going to get a challenge here, as Coach wants to come out and talk with the blue that was closest to the play. But we'll see. I mean, we had a lengthy conversation back in the first inning between the coach and the umpires, but that was obviously substantiated. That was needed. They had to settle some things and make sure everything was okay. Now, short conversation there.
I mean,
there was not much to talk about.
if my eyes did not deceive me, he absolutely came off the plate to get the catch. So therefore, he was not touching the plate when he got the ball.
So, bases loaded, 1 out. Blake Coleman at the plate. Coleman hits this one into right field. It's going to be playable for the right fielder. The throw to the plate, Mason Johnson. He's safe! Johnson is safe at the plate! He missed the tag and goes down and gets the plate, and the Senecas take the lead, 3-2. What an athletic play by the big man, Mason Johnson.
What a heads-up play to know that he didn't touch the base and he had to crawl back over to it there to get it.
Wow. Now they're trying to say he went outside the base path, but no, sorry. He was still inside that base path when he went around him.
Mm-hmm. He definitely did a little scooting there, but you're allowed to do that.
So Senecas take the lead now, 3-2. Runners at first and second, 2 down. Schultz hits this one into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Connor Moyer on his way to the plate. The big man slides in safely, and it's 4-2 Senecas. And this is how the Senecas pile on you. They've done this all year long. They find that one inning, Greg, and they just continue to bat around the lineup. I mean, you're almost batting through the order now, Greg. Caden Otterbacher was the first batter in this inning. He's in the on-deck circle.
Doing a great job here in this inning.
First pitch in there for a strike to Jacob Kidwell. Schultz did a great job there of being aggressive because he had fallen behind 0-2 the first 2 times up at the plate. He said, I'm not going to fall behind. I'm going to take this first pitch and put it in left field. That one, good eye by Kidwell as he watches that one inside. Evens the count at 1-1. Two down, runners at first and second. Kidwell hits this one to the shortstop. Gloves, underhand to second, and that's the final out. But the Senecas plate 4, and they take the lead. Heading into the bottom of the 5th, it's 4-2 Tiffin Calvert.
Calvert's had 2 really good back-to-back innings here on defense. They need to just keep riding that momentum there.
This is very reminiscent of that New Riggle game, Greg. Is it not?
Yeah.
Just taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them.
And that's what you have to do. You can't let those slip by.
And, you talk about the first couple innings, they had a couple opportunities that they just weren't able to cash in on.
Yeah, they could not capitalize on them.
But that inning, they finally broke through. Mason Johnson with a big 1-out, 2 RBI double. Opened up the scoring and opened up the floodgates for the Senecas as they were able to plate 4 there in the top of the 5th to take the lead, 4-2. Nate Mullins on the call with you. Greg Kinn, the Wizard, on the 1s and 2s. We got Austin Rodriguez on the camera here today. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast once again presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant, and your Legacy Federal Credit Union. Let's take a moment and thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to be here to present today's ball game to you. Thanks to Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and your Legacy Federal Credit Union, as well as Hope in Fostoria, MST Sauce Company, Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Lee's Floor Covering, Linda S. Ritzler Accounting, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc., TPC Food Service, and Clouse Electric, all proud sponsors with us here on Heart of Ohio Sports. When you talk about TPC Food Service, folks, if you haven't had a chance, they're all settled in. They're moved into their new building, the old Atlas, or the old GE, as some of you might know. Yeah, they're on Wall Street. Beautiful. They've done a nice job at remodeling that facility and making it look, I mean, it's
that's a good-sized facility.
Yeah, and it's perfect for them. It fits what they need, at least for now, until they outgrow this one, too. But they've been in service for 75 years, serving the Tiffin, Ohio area, providing quality product and service to food service operators in Northwest Ohio and the surrounding areas. Family owned and Ohio proud. Contact them toll free at 800-342-0477 today. TPC Food Service, big enough to serve you, small enough to care. Blake Coleman starts out with a first pitch, and he hits the batter, Jacob Spickard, and that'll put him on base. I'm sure he wasn't trying to do that.
No question his strategy.
That'll bring up Chance Klingelhofer.
Chance Klingelhofer.
And he squares to bunt, gets that one down. Johnson gloves and throws to first for the first out. But they do their job. They move the runner over to second base.
Very well placed bunt there.
Nice job by Mason Johnson to come off at third and make that play. That'll bring up
Next up to bat,
Luke Heckert,
left fielder.
the left fielder. I always read the lineup wrong. I want to say 7 is right field because it starts first base to third, but I forget it goes from third to short and then to left over to center. Swing and a miss. Good off speed there from Blake Coleman. Coleman comes set. Here's the 0-1. Runners off. Moyer throw down to third, and they got him at third. What a throw by Connor Moyer, and what a job by Mason Johnson down there.
To glove that one and then get over there and make sure that he got him tagged.
And he lost his balance, Greg. He was on the ground when he made that tag. What a play by Johnson.
It's a very heads-up play down there.
Whew. And the coach is going to come and make sure. Sorry, Coach, we don't have an instant replay. You can't challenge the call. Umpire, and he makes sure with the third base ump after the challenge. Appeal, I should say. Appeal. Appeal to reason. So 2 down, and Luke Heckert at the plate facing a 1-1 count. Here's the pitch from Coleman. Outside. And it's now 2-1 on Heckert.
And can I just say how smart that last whole series was there, where they threw that pitch and the catcher immediately threw it down on third. They knew what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
They were ready for that one. Beautifully done.
You can tell that just the delay. Swung on, and this one's going to drop. This is going to get down for a base hit. And nicely done by the right fielder, A.J. Shoemaker, as he gets over to cut that one off before it gets to the wall. Because I tell you, that one had double written all over it, Greg. But
yeah, it was cruising.
And Heckert was quick out of the box, too. I thought he was going to get that one to second, but A.J. Shoemaker with a nice job defensively to get over there and cut it off before it got to the wall. So 2 down. Back to the top of the order, Harrison Koblenz at the plate for the Tigers. Third time through the order here. Up high. Coleman, here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Boy, Koblenz was trying to put that one out into those trees over there in left field, Greg. I think he was trying to put a light out on the scoreboard with that one. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, hit to center field, but Otterbacher should be able to make the play. Ranges over and makes the out. That's the final out here in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the top of the 6th. It's 4-2 Tiffin Calvert. Step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Betting happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. You're on the edge of your seat until the moment when it's all on the line, which is why it's important to pause before you play. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be, so remember to set limits, know the risks, and pause before you play. To learn more, visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by Hope and Fostoria and the CARSA Coalition of Seneca County.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
All right, and we're back here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins on the call with you. Greg Kinn, the Wizard, on the 1s and 2s. And we got Austin Rodriguez on the camera here today. Thanks for tuning in. Today's broadcast presented by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant and Your Legacy Federal Credit Union. We are live from Louisville High School, the site of today's regional semifinal matchup. Otterbacher takes a swing at the first pitch, hits it to the second baseman, who throws over to first for the first out. So a quick out there for Meninga.
Back to the top of the batting order for the Senecas.
And the Senecas back to the top of the order here as Nick Palm at the plate. Watches that one up high for a ball. Top of the 6th, Senecas lead 4-2. Palm hits that one into left field. Should be playable. And it is for the left fielder. So just 3 pitches in, and Meninga already has 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Next up, number 5, A.J. Shoemaker.
A.J. Shoemaker at the plate here. And first pitch outside. Shoemaker worked himself on with a single last time up and then came around to score the tying run back in the 5th inning. That one on the outside corner. And quickly it's 1-2 here on Shoemaker. Swing and a miss. Meninga comes after him and goes upstairs with it. Shoemaker underneath of it swings through. And that is the end of the top of the 6th. The Senecas go 1-2-3. It's 4-2 Tigers. We head to the bottom of the 6th here on Heart of Ohio Sports. I'll tell you about our friends at First National Bank of Sycamore. They are uniquely rooted in our communities, folks, proudly serving their customers since 1919. They have locations in Sycamore, Tiffin, New Riggle, and McCutcheonsville. Member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Another one of our proud sponsors here. Feasel's Frame and Collision, your one-stop shop for vehicle body repair. Why go to the rest when you can take your vehicle to the best? Feasel's Frame and Collision is a family-owned business that service vehicles for this community for decades and will continue to do so for many years to come. Trust your vehicle repairs to Feasel's Frame and Collision. Just one of my favorite people, Greg. Jeff Feasel, I mean,
absolutely.
you're going to talk about a guy just willing to give anything and everything for the youth in this community.
I think,
How many times has he been a volunteer coach for his kids?
I was going to say, and, knowing the guy personally, he comes off as kind of a big kid at heart, and,
That's exactly what he is.
That's exactly why, he has so much care for the youth in the community. And we were all kids once, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Number 13.
Leading off for the Tigers here in the bottom of the sixth, it's Matt Warder, the center fielder. Blake Coleman on for his sixth inning of work. That one hit back up the middle. Palm almost able to make the play, but that one gets through for a base hit, and Warder on with a leadoff single. That'll bring up Dylan Meninga. Meninga had a double back in the first inning.
Dylan Meninga.
Runner down at first base. Time called by the batter. Meninga hits this one into the air into right field. The right fielder lost it, but he gets, it was a little deke. Greg, that was a deke. Tried to get the runner to go because he thought he lost it. That was a nice play there by the right fielder, A.J. Shoemaker, as he tried to act like he lost it in the sun to get the runner to run so he could double him up at first base.
I didn't know it was such a good actor out there.
I've seen that a couple times. That's the first time I've seen it in a high school game, though.
Yeah, we threw the old arms up like, I don't know, I can't see it. Convinced me.
Swung on, fouled off to the right. Wyatt Feather at the plate for the Tigers. Runner down at first, one out. 4-2 Senecas. Blake Coleman comes set. Here's the 0-1. Just inside. Sometimes I feel like the batters will get that call by that little move like that. It's like, that was pretty close. I don't know why he moved like that, because he wanted to get that call.
I can't say I disagree that happens sometimes for sure.
That one up high, and it's now 2-1 on Feather. Feather hits this one high up in the air, and it's going to have to be, they're going to have to make a play, and nobody able to make the play there, as it was kind of in no man's land. I think that one had to have been a play where maybe the second baseman should have ranged out and made that play, but Godfrey kind of called it off early, and then the center fielder and the right fielder had to converge to try to make that play. But
I mean,
either way,
when you don't know exactly where it's going to fall, it almost seems like what's easier, running backwards or forwards.
Exactly.
So those guys come in. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the second baseman probably had the best play on that one.
I just don't think he had it because of the sun. I think they lost it in the sun.
Right, and if you're not on that very first step backwards, you're not going to get underneath it.
Yep,
so.
Absolutely. So runners will be at first and second with one out after we come back from this little call to the bullpen here. Gives me a little bit of time to tell you about our friends at Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc. They are here for all of your printing and design needs, from reunions to small events to business apparel and even vehicle lettering. They've got you covered. Check out the newly remodeled storefront. You can find gear from all the local teams already made and ready to take home. They make the gear that you make your memories in. Of course, they can do any custom order you have. Just take them to design. Hey, even if you're having a little trouble coming up with a good design, take your ideas in there. Katina and her staff will do a great job, and they'll take care of you from start to finish. Once again, Steinmetz Signs and Graphic Inc. One down. Nathan Bryan at the plate. That went inside. Runners at first and second here. Coleman comes set. Here's the 1-0. In there for a strike. And it's now 1-1. And that one misses. 2-1 the count now. And the 2-1 hit to the third baseman. Johnson steps on third, and that's going to get the lead runner. But the throw over to second, not in time, and Godfrey unable to make the play anyways. So
Just that.
Runners at first and second are safe. The runner at third is out, obviously. He thought he was safe for some reason. I don't know why he was still standing on third.
Just that extra second that it took when it bounced out of his glove there is what made the difference to not get the second base.
Yep. Well, let's see if the Tigers are able to make him pay for that split second mistake there.
Next up to bat,
Braden Miller at the plate, the first baseman.
Braden Miller.
2 down. Blake Coleman comes set, and a time called by the batter. They do not like Blake Coleman taking his time to get the pitch to the plate. They called a lot of time at the plate. I think it's been about 5 or 6 times I've seen time called. That one up high. Brush him back. And 1-0 down low, and it's now 2-0 on Braden Miller. Blake Coleman comes set. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike as that curveball dropped right in the bucket. And it's now 2-1. Same thing, 2-2 now. Yeah, if he's just going to put the bat on his shoulder, I'd have thrown that same pitch again too. That's where I come with the fastball right here, Greg. Fastball high. He misses with that one.
A little too high.
And they're just going to put him on. No? I guess not. Nope. They're going to pitch to him. I was like, I don't understand that. Saw the coaching staff down there pointing to first, but I think that's a call that they're making, so. And he walked him. So Miller must have been able to hold his swing there.
I know the catcher was asking there. He said,
Now, is the coach trying to challenge that, or no? He's just okay. Never mind.
Next up, number 20, the designated hitter, Jacob Spickard.
looks like they're switching the runner at second base. Is that what's happening?
A relief runner here. I think that's 25.
I think so, yeah.
Brady Feather, freshman, checking in as the relief runner at second base. Jacob Spickard at the plate, the DH. Last time he was at the plate, Blake Coleman hit him with the first pitch back in the 5th inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. Coleman comes set. Here's the pitch. Right down the. Oh.
Really?
I'm
not really sure what.
I don't know where that one was.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not making a judgment call. I'm just saying I don't know.
I don't know where that one was. I didn't see it. That one in there for a strike.
Some of the fans here didn't think that one should have been a strike.
Might have been a makeup call. Who knows?
I mean, you know.
Coleman comes set. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, fouled back. And we'll come back and do it at 1-2 now. And Coleman's got him right where he wants him, hopefully, here. Jacobs Pickard at the plate.
See if you can get him out of this one.
Coleman on the mound. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, popped up on the infield. Coleman calls for it, makes the catch, and he gets out of the bases loaded jam. The Senecas keep the lead. It's 4-2 Tiffin Calvert as we head to the 7th inning. We'll step aside, take a timeout. We'll come back. You're watching Heart of Ohio Sports.
Why go to Lee's Floor Covering of Tiffin? Why not just go to one of those big box DIY stores? Because at Lee's Floor Covering, they know that selecting the right flooring for your home can be overwhelming. They make choosing the right items for your home simple. At Lee's Floor Covering, they have one of the largest selections of floor covering in Northwest Ohio, and they make the decision-making process easy. Stop in and see what everyone raves about at Lee's Floor Covering in Tiffin. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
And we're back here at Louisville High School, set to start the top half of the 7th inning with the Senecas on top 4-2. Tigers, Dylan Meninga on the mound for his 7th inning of work. For 5 out of his 6 innings, he has been scoreless. Just 1 inning, he gave up 4 runs, and that's the story of this one here today, Greg. This young man has pitched an outstanding ball game here today.
Absolutely. We're not done yet.
And this is not anywhere near done yet, absolutely.
Johnson, ready for the batter's box.
And that'll bring up Mason Johnson. Johnson hits that one into the air, into left or into right center field. Back goes the center fielder, and he makes the play. We call that warning track power, Greggy.
Man, I'll tell you what.
He gave that one a ride, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too much more would have sent that one out of here.
Can't blame it on the wind either. It was dead. There was no wind, so. I was going to tell you that Mason Johnson on the season has been tearing the cover off the ball.
Hey, just because it didn't get out there doesn't mean you didn't tear the cover off of that one, too.
Right. Came into today on the season, was batting .439 with a .541 on-base percentage, 123 plate appearances, 98 at-bats, 1.35 OPS for Mason Johnson. At the plate now, though, is Connor Moyer. We mentioned him earlier. He had a .592 on-base percentage.
Let's call that one a strike.
Here's the 1-2, and Moyer hits that one in between the shortstop and the third baseman. So Connor Moyer on base once again. Another single here. He's got 2 of them on the day. And that'll bring up Cam Moyer.
Number 99, Cameron Moyer.
We mentioned his stats back in the first inning, but they're worth mentioning again. on the season. He had a .297 batting average, 64 at-bats, and 104 plate appearances.
Called a ball on that one. The crowd didn't seem happy with that.
They haven't been happy with a whole lot of calls today, so all I got to say is there's a whole lot of people here that need to be umpires next year because they seem to think they know every call. Ooh. That one it is on the inside corner for a strike. We do have an umpire shortage in Ohio, so I'm sure they would definitely appreciate the help. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Meninga as he ties him up. Had him out in front of it. And it's now 1-2. Connor Moyer down at first. Cameron Moyer at the plate. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, foul tipped at the plate. We'll come back and do it again at 1-2. Here is the 1-2 from Meninga. It hits him as Moyer wears his 11th hit by pitch on the season.
Listen, I'm used to it. I've got literal tough skin.
And that'll put a runner on first and second base here for Blake Coleman, the pitcher. He steps up to the plate. Swung on, hit back up the middle. Shortstop ranges over. Underhand to second for the first out, but no relay. And runners at first and third now with 2 outs. That'll bring up Harrison Schultz. Schultz looking to add some insurance here.
Number 2, the left fielder, Harry Schultz.
Schultz hits that one back up the middle. Shortstop gloves and tags second base for the out.
Great effort.
What a play by the shortstop there. Tanner Norman, outstanding play there to get the out. And that's the final out there in the top of the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Tigers down to their final 3 outs. It's 4-2 Senecas.
Yeah, it was just a great job there of him getting over and getting in front of that one, gloving that ball, and then just reaching out back over to the base there. It's no easy task. It made it look kind of easy, but I know that wasn't easy. They did their job on defense there, Nate.
Absolutely.
Did exactly what they needed to do.
So they limit the damage, no runs scored. And Blake Coleman on the mound, trying to finish this one off for the Senecas here. Now, Greg, how short do you think his leash is? That's the only question I have. If he gives up a hit or a walk here in his first batter, Mason Johnson over there at third base on the season with a 0.00 ERA, you got to figure any sign of trouble from Blake Coleman here in this bottom half, and Mason Johnson is just one call to the bullpen away.
Yeah, because you don't want to get yourself dug into a hole. It gets to be too deep here when you're on the cusp of victory and getting out of this one.
Absolutely. And I think, as a coach, your pitcher has earned his right to be able to finish this one off.
Right, and he hasn't shown any signs of any real weaknesses so far.
Absolutely. Now, he did get into a bases-loaded jam in that bottom of the 6th inning, but he got out of it. He's earned his right to be here.
But you can't be getting back into that situation.
That's exactly right. So I think if you're Matt Coleman, you got to have a short leash here for your young right-hander.
And if you're Blake, you've earned this one. You want to finish this one out.
That's absolutely right. That's what I said. He's earned the right to finish this one off with his performance, because since the 2nd inning, he has shut down this Tigers lineup. Chance Klingelhofer at the plate. And first pitch from Coleman down low. Starts him out with a fastball, misses low. Here's the 1-0. Swung on, chopped to third. Johnson gloves, throws to first, and they get the out at first.
Nice little quick throw there by Johnson. Way to glove that one and just rip it right over there.
And a nice play by the first baseman there, because that throw wasn't exactly right on target. He had to make that.
And he made sure to keep his foot glued down. And
exactly.
You saw the ump.
The ump was checking that the whole time, making sure his foot was on the bag.
I mean, it's ridiculously important for the little details here in the bottom of the seventh. Good job by the ump there, and good job by the first baseman.
1 out. Luke Heckert at the plate. Coleman. Swung on, foul tipped into the glove. And it's 0-1. Outside. One versus one here.
1v1?
1v1, yes. The 1-1 fouled off to the left on a check swing. And we'll come back and do it at 1-2.
Sent that one towards his teammate over there. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
One down, nobody on. Blake Coleman delivers the 1-2 outside. 2-2 the count now on Heckert. That one inside, and it's now a full count here on Luke Heckert. Here is the 3-2 from Coleman. Swung on, hit into the air, into left field. This looks to be playable, and it is. As the left fielder, Harrison Schultz, squeezes it for the second out.
Excellent job of locating that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Tigers.
Because you had three of them going after it. We've seen what happens in that situation.
Yeah.
Next up, number 8, Harrison Koblenz.
Tigers back to the top of the order. Harrison Koblenz at the plate. First pitch from Coleman is up high. Tried to start him out with an off speed, but it just missed the snap. It didn't get a snap that he's used to getting there. The 1-0 misses outside. It's now 2-0. The 2-0 in there for a strike. It's 2-1. Swing and a miss. Wow. It's 2-2. That one up high. And he works the count full. Harrison Koblenz with putting together a good at-bat here.
Oh, absolutely.
Swung on, fouled off to the right, and this one's going to go out of play.
Just
we'll come back and do it again. Shoemaker tried to jump the fence to go get that one.
How much do they want this last out? And
right?
Three of them over there hitting the fence at the same time.
Full count. Harrison Koblenz at the plate. Blake Coleman trying to close this one out for the Senecas. Swung on, hit back up the middle.
Good hit there.
And a nice hit by Koblenz as he keeps the Tigers' hopes alive with a 2-out base hit. That'll bring up the center fielder, Matt Warder.
Number 13, center fielder, Matt Warder.
That's how I say water, Greg.
Give me a water bottle.
Give me a Warder. That went in there for a strike. Coleman gets that curveball to snap in there. Runner down at first base, 2 down. Coleman comes set. The 0-1 just misses outside. Looked like the same pitch, Greg.
Very close.
It's pretty close to the same pitch as the last one. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, hit to short. Palm, gloves, throws to first, and that final out is recorded. Ball game. Senecas win 4-2, and they move on to the regional final, which will be played here tomorrow night at Louisville High School. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We got the post-game show coming to you next. It's all right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
Federal Credit Union, your premier financial institution in Seneca County since 1952. Your community, your legacy. Federally insured NCUA.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
Betting happens as fast as sports, and now every play is faster than ever before. You're on the edge of your seat until the moment when it's all on the line, which is why it's important to pause before you play. Sports are fast, betting shouldn't be, so remember to set limits, know the risks, and pause before you play. To learn more, visit pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by Hope and Fostoria and the CARSA Coalition of Seneca County.
You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State. Why go to Lee's Floor Covering of Tiffin? Why not just go to one of those big box DIY stores? Because at Lee's Floor Covering, they know that selecting the right flooring for your home can be overwhelming. They make choosing the right items for your home simple. At Lee's Floor Covering, they have one of the largest selections of floor covering in Northwest Ohio, and they make the decision-making process easy. Stop in and see what everyone raves about at Lee's Floor Covering in Tiffin. You're watching right here on Heart of Ohio Sports, the pulse of the Buckeye State.
All right, and we're back here at Louisville High School, the site of today's regional matchups here in the semifinal round. First game saw Warren JFK dispatch Dalton 7-1, and they will face the Tiffin Calvert Senecas tomorrow night here at Louisville High School. We'll be on the call for that one. I don't know how we're going to do it, Greg, but we're going to have to figure it out.
We'll get to figure it out. For you, the people.
For you, Calvert fans, we will be here once again tomorrow night here at Louisville High School for the final between Tiffin Calvert and Warren JFK. Once again, you're tuned in here on the postgame show brought to you by your Legacy Federal Credit Union. The final score, 4-2, Tiffin Calvert dispatches the Tigers of Lake Center Christian. And I tell you, this one was a heck of a ball game from start to finish. The Tigers, I mean, they put together a heck of a battle, Greg, and every single inning, I think they had a base runner except for one.
Oh, they were absolutely a solid team. You never felt safe any time that they were up to bat. Never. You never felt safe. I mean, and they did a great job. of instilling that fear, doing their job. But Calvert did just a little bit better job of keeping them from scoring too many times. And then that 4-run inning, man, it just busted things wide open.
That's exactly what they do, Greg, though. Like, they've done that all year. They'll go 2-3 innings without scoring, and then they'll put up a 4 or a 5 or a 6 spot in one inning, and that's the story of the game. That's pretty much the story of the season for the Senecas.
Right, and then when you can be consistent throughout every other inning and keeping the other teams from scoring, it just leads you right to where you're at here now.
And the defense they put on display here today, just outstanding. I can't say enough about.
And it had to be outstanding to beat this team.
For real, because, I mean, you had outstanding defense by both teams here today. As you saw at Lake Center, they were not letting anything out of the infield, and the outfield was covering a lot of ground. So the Senecas really had to work their at-bats and find favorable pitches to get their hits. And they were able to do that. They broke free in the 5th inning to take a 4-2 lead, and that was the score. That's the final score. 4-2 is the final. Now, Greg, we didn't really get a chance to talk a whole lot off the air about our MST Sauce Company player of the game.
Right, and this was just one of those meticulous pick away until they had that big 4-run inning kind of games where, like, nobody jumped out immediately at me. I don't know how you're feeling. We can talk about it now.
I love pitching, Greg, and I gotta give it up to Blake Coleman here today. Not only did he shut down this Tigers lineup, a potent Tigers lineup.
Yeah. After
the 2nd inning, he did not allow a run. But, I mean, he also contributed at the plate as well, found his way on base a few times. And I think if I had to give it to anybody here today, my MST Sauce Company player of the game vote goes to Blake Coleman for his outstanding performance on the mound here today and at the plate. Mm-hmm. So I think if I had to give a vote, that would be who my vote goes to. What about you, Greg? What do you got?
I'm going to go with you on that, Nate, because like I said, when that offense was up to bat, it was scary. They instilled fear, and Coleman handled that. And, I don't know if you want to say he slayed the monster or whatever you want to call it, but he did his job, and he got the Senecas the victory here today. And without him doing his job to perfection, they don't get out of here with a 2-run lead, a 2-run win,
Absolutely.
Like,
big-time win for the Senecas here as they move on to the regional final for the second year in a row, I think. No, this is the 3rd year in a row they've made it to the regional finals. And, last year they were able to win and move on to the state semis. We were there for that one. And we'll be there once again this Friday, tomorrow night, right here at Louisville High School for Warren JFK versus Tiffin Calvert.
It's going to be a battle.
You want to talk about a battle? It's all going to be on the line tomorrow. How much you want to bet Mason Johnson's going to be on the mound?
It reminds you of David versus Goliath, but we know exactly how Calvert has handled being the small school underdogs this year.
Absolutely. That is a great way to put it, Greg. But once again, your final score, 4-2. Tiffin Calvert moves on to the regional final, which we play tomorrow night right here at Louisville High School. There's not a whole lot more that can be said. I mean, we talk about keys to the game brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. And one of the keys for me today for Tiffin Calvert was just the defense to me was on point, but their approach at the plate. I always say patience is one of those keys, but to me it was discipline today. Mm-hmm. Discipline is what they showed to me more than anything, because you were down 2-0 in this game. It's so easy to go up there and just hack away, swing away at everything.
It's so easy to let the other team ride that wave of momentum, too.
Yes.
And just take over the game.
But, discipline is something that I think goes a long way on a baseball team, and it shows today for Tiffin Calvert that that's one of the founding principles that they build this team on, is discipline. And it was on display today, so that's my key to the game, brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. Once again, I want to thank all of our title sponsors here today. Our weather report was brought to you by TPC Food Service. Our keys to the game brought to you by Xcaret Mexican Restaurant. First pitch was brought to you by Hope in Fostoria. Our announcer camp today brought to you by Lee's Floor Covering. And our player of the game brought to you by MST Sauce Company. Of course, post-game show, you're tuned in here on the Your Legacy Federal Credit Union post-game show. And we also want to thank Linda S. Ritzler Accounting for allowing us to help bring today's ball game to you. Also, thanks to Feasel's Frame and Collision, First National Bank of Sycamore, Steinmetz, Signs and Graphic Inc., and Clouse Electric for all of their contributions here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Hey, folks.
I was going to say, can I give out one more thing?
Absolutely.
I want to thank the Calvert baseball team for making this trip worth it.
Thank you.
That's 2
what
hour
a great
trip,
game. What a great game. And we're looking forward to another good one here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But once again, folks, tomorrow is another game here on Heart of Ohio Sports. That means it's another opportunity for you as a sponsor, as a family. We're taking anybody and any help that we can get, folks, because it just helps us put a little bit more in the coffer to build what we're trying to build here. So we ask for your help because we right now are trying to build something. We're trying to provide the quality broadcast that we have come to expect from ourselves, but also that you have come to expect from us. So if you're still looking to get on board with us, if you want to get on board, folks, shoot me a message on the page. You can shoot us an email at nmullins@heartofohiosports.com, or just shoot me a text message, 567-207-5041. I would love to sit down and talk with you about how we can take your marketing plan to the next level. So we'd love to be able to help. We'd love to be able to help promote you as a business, but also we would love to get some families on board that want to help us promote these Calvert Senecas
And capture
tomorrow.
these memories, man.
Absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to do it. For Austin Rodriguez and Greg Kinn, I'm Nate Mullins signing off. Once again, your final score, 4-2. Tiffin Calvert moving on to the regional final. Played tomorrow night right here against Warren JFK on Heart of Ohio Sports. That's going to do it, folks. Have a great day, everybody.